The Indianapolis Colts have found their quarterback of the future in Joe Flacco. I'm just joking, obviously, but Joe Flacco did lead them to a victory today over their division rival in the Tennessee Titans. And their reward is they get to go up against the Miami Dolphins, who are coming off a bye, but have been really struggling this year, just in general, but also too ever since Tua has gone down with an injury. We're going to break down this Week 7 matchup here for you between the Miami Dolphins and the Indianapolis Colts. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. And we're going to talk about the matchups within this game and as well give our predictions at the very end of the video. But before we get into that, we do have a goal of getting to 100 new subscribers for the Week 7 prediction videos we have going out. We've been able to hit that goal over the past several weeks thanks to all the new members to the channel. So if this is your first time here or if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to the Tracy Take. Leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And so, Ryan, the Colts were able to come out with a victory today against the Tennessee Titans. It was very close. It's probably closer than I think most teams would have liked. Probably both teams didn't really like the overall performance by their respective teams. But the Colts came out victorious, bringing them to 3-3 on the season. Miami is coming off a much needed bye as they are 1-4. Last time we saw them on the field, it was against your New England Patriots. And so and they were able to squeak out that game. And actually, my apologies, they're 2-3 on the season. I think they're 1-4. They're 2-3 thanks to their win over the Patriots. So, but still, I think it's a long season. They are definitely not out of the playoffs. Either team is. But what do you think each team has to do to kind of keep ensuring that like they can keep their playoff hopes alive this week?
Yeah, I mean, going into this matchup, I don't think the Dolphins' playoff hopes are really alive still. Just kind of looking like they haven't scored 20 points all year. I think they have problems beyond the injuries.
They scored 20 against Jacksonville to win.
They haven't scored over 20 points all year.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And they've only done it once. And to me, like that, like they have problems beyond just personnel on this offense. Like I know they have great skill position guys in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. This offensive line is atrocious. And they have good running backs, but behind this offensive line, they can only do so much. And this defense is just decimated with injuries also. And so it's just a really tough season, I think, for the Miami Dolphins. But like that happens. I'm really curious to see what they do going forward. Like, do they stick with Mike McDaniel? It's weird watching this like total fall from grace because I still felt like they had some of these issues last year, but they still had that 70-point performance over Denver early in the year, and I expected a fall off later in the season. But this Miami Dolphins team has really struggled offensively throughout this year, and to me, if they want to get back on track, just get the ball in your playmakers' hands as much as possible, whether that's running screen plays, jet sweeps, get the ball in space and let these guys go try to create for themselves. I know it's nice to have like these deep crossers where you can hit Tyreek Hill over the middle and then he can get over to the one sideline and run up. But Tyler Huntley doesn't have the ability to hit those crossers on a consistent basis. And while he is mobile, until Tua comes back, I think this offense is just really going to struggle. So all in all, I get the ball in your playmakers' hands in space. This Colts secondary does have some weaker corners, and so I think they could definitely take advantage of those matchups. But I think they're going to need to establish the quick passing game and maybe establish the run a lot more than they have been. And if I'm the Colts, I'm trying to get after Tyler Huntley. This offense has been relatively inept throughout this whole season. Besides like the second half in Jacksonville and one drive against New England, they haven't really done much to consistently move the ball.
Well, I will say, I off the top of my head, I don't know if it's going to be Tyler Huntley or if it might be Skylar Thompson as well. I think that's going to be some of the things. Cause I know Tyler Huntley was the guy for New England because Skylar Thompson was still a little banged up from the Seahawks game. So just with that extra week, I think
he was dressed for the game. They brought in Tyler Huntley, I think, to be the guy. They brought in Tyler Huntley for the Seahawks game.
Yeah, no, but Skylar Thompson got hurt during that game, though, and so that's what I'm saying. I still think there's maybe a possibility that it's one of those guys. That being said, though, it's still not Tua.
Yeah.
I think the team would prefer to have Tua in there. But
Sure.
that's the thing going like the last year with Miami. With Tua in there, Tua was healthy the whole year. Like things were clicking. Like the offense was clicking. Even to going in that Jacksonville game. Of course, it's week 1, and then even things weren't looking that great for week 2 when Tua was in there before he got hurt. And so it's still early on in the season.
Maybe and historically, they struggled against the Bills.
Yeah. I'll say it again.
Historically, they struggled against the Bills.
And that's fair. And so I think one thing as well, too, their offensive line, you said this has been atrocious. And that's going to be the thing going up against this Colts team who looking at statistically right now, it's amazing. They have one of the worst defenses in the league, 30th in total yards allowed, 26th in passing yards allowed, 31st in rushing yards allowed. And so they're going to have to ensure that trend keeps continuing when it comes to the Colts because they have the opportunity to take a lot of pressure off whichever quarterback is going to be back there by running the ball with Devon A-Chain or Raheem Mostert. And I'm pretty sure A-Chain, because I know he got banged up a little bit, but I don't think he's on IR,
right? No. He was actually questionable. He got a concussion against the Patriots.
Okay. Okay. So he should be good to go then, because especially to imagine A-Chain against how horrible this Colts defense is. I think that could take a lot of pressure off, open things up to what you were saying with the bubble screens or jet sweeps, getting the ball into Tyreek Hill's hands or Jalen Waddle's hands as well, kind of moving forward. And on the flip side too, the Colts, I think they just need to kind of keep on doing what they're doing. The Miami Dolphins defense statistically ranked pretty well, but they haven't really. Their last 2 games were against the Tennessee Titans, which was mainly led by Mason Rudolph, and then a Jacoby Brissett-led New England Patriots team, which is helped out a lot, I think, in their overall total yards, just when it comes to their overall defensive rankings. That being said, though, I think the Colts are going to be able to run the ball against them. I think they're going to have good passing opportunities as well against this Miami team, which a lot of their main issues are definitely on the offensive side of the ball because this whole team is built for speed, built for shootouts. They want to have their defensive guys pin their ears backs and trying to capitalize on those opportunities. And that's just not the way that this team is playing right now. And so how is Miami going to be able to exploit this Colts defense, even with how banged up the offensive line is and with the backup or maybe even third-string quarterback? Then on the flip side, then too, how can the Colts kind of exploit some of the weaknesses and try and control the ball as much as possible just to avoid any potential explosive plays by Miami?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to beat him with speed first off in the running game, but this Colts defensive front is also banged up as well. So you're kind of having a backup on backup matchup, which I still feel like the Colts could win just with how bad this offensive line has been playing. But you could also just say screw it and bring in some jumbo packages and just be like, all right, well, we're just going to put 8 guys down and have more blockers. It could also try to stretch the field early in that aspect of make the Colts have to defend more blades of grass. It's going to be a really interesting matchup because I think both teams are kind of playing with a hand tied behind their back in this matchup.
Yeah, but I will say, so kind of moving to the predictions for me though is it's almost like maybe the hand behind the back could maybe be a little bit of if Anthony Richardson in the game, because with Joe Flacco, there's at least a level of consistency and a little bit more explosive passing play opportunity that we didn't see last year with Gardner Minshew, because Joe Flacco still got an arm. Minshew's definitely limited on his arm capability, and so Flacco's the guy that's going. Well, actually, even if it's Richardson, I'm going to go with the Colts here on this one. I know the Colts defense hasn't been that great, but they still only held Tennessee to 17 points, and some of that absolutely was self-inflicted by Tennessee. But I think it'd be kind of maybe a similar style of game that what it was today by Tennessee. Because if I go look at the Tennessee stats, 146 rushing yards for only 95 passing yards, I kind of expect that's going to be the type of numbers we're going to see from Miami. And I don't know if Miami's going to be able to exploit the deficiencies on the Colts side of the ball. They're going to absolutely try and get it into the playmakers' hands and Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a lot more of Devon A-Chain running the ball as well, because I think that's going to be their best way to exploit this Colts defense. And so And that being said, I think the Colts can capitalize and put some points up on the board with whoever the quarterback's going to be. So I'm going to go with the Colts here at home, just barely.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts at home. I am struggling to pick the Dolphins in any game, especially like I'm pretty confident the Colts are going to be able to put up like 20 to 28 points. Like they'll be in that range. The Dolphins have the lowest points per game average in the league, and that's just not a good way to win. They really struggled to get pass rush on the Patriots, who have the worst offensive line in the league. It just Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are both out, and like they're struggling in that front. So you couple a struggling offense with a defense that is going to give Joe Flacco a bunch of time to basically pick them apart. I think that's a good matchup for the Colts to go in and win. So I think it's going to be an Indianapolis game. I think this is going to be a really sloppy game, just all around. I could see Indianapolis playing clean, but I still feel like even they're banged up as well, and they have a lot of guys kind of playing injured. So
potentially so. Yeah.
But let's go ahead. We'll wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Miami Dolphins? Will it be the Indianapolis Colts? And then that we'll see you guys next time.